Jake, State Farm. This and these ARP fasteners and this 671 large bore, by the way, Mooneyham blower off an alcohol car. You guys know the story. Is going back on the engine today. Aluminum blue studs, ARP. Have a cool little Allen in the top. Check them out. And a 12-point. Allen goes right there. Yep, you can see that. Snaps in nice and tight. I don't even know what size it is. It's tight. And then a nice 12-point half-inch wrench, 12-point. That's going on. I'm going to use my black tea, lava lamp, and a puppy. Yep, she's here. But we got stuff in the mail. I know what this is. Let's see what it is. So you guys will know. I had a great day today. Surfing was wonderful this morning. It was actually really nice and calm. It was beautiful. I surfed in the harbor. Ooh, Cartoons magazine. I used to get these when I was a kid, and I found them again, and now I get another subscription to the actual magazine. They're pretty fun. They remind me a lot of what it was like when I was a kid. Still got Crass and Bernie and stuff in there, but I do miss Sean Carey. Sean Carey and her and the cartoons. When I found out she was a chick, oh man. And then I saw a picture of her, and she played, was in like punk rock, and she did like, and she was a gearhead, and she knew about cars. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I had a crush on her. Oh yeah, I gotta cut this open. Next one. Where is my Leathermans? Where'd you go? Where did I put it? No, I bet it's up here. There it is. Okay, hold on. Quit looking. I found it. I'll tell you more about my day today. Is this mic even on? I don't even know if this mic's working. Now can you hear me? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. Anyway, if you couldn't before, I'm not going to sum it up. Great day, surfing, blah, blah, blah. Sean Carey, cartoons. Had a crush. This is a package from Midwest Muscle Car Specialties. I think I know what they are. I thought I knew what they are. Hold, please. Hold. Oh, yeah. Cool. Hood bumpers. Adjustable hood bumpers. Go up here in the hood. In these corners right here. Stick down and adjust your height when it's on the front. That side has one. This one doesn't. Yeah. So that happened. Okay. Today. What happened today? Let me tell you all about it. And then we'll put this together. This time I will verify that it is. You are going to see me pick this up and set it on there for real. I'll put the studs in first. But okay, today was pretty awesome. Two things. One, my wife said she's not riding in this car with these seats the way they are. And I told you that they stink because they stink. They smell like mold. I mean, it's bad. It used to stink like bad mildew. They were kind of sour and like a bad dog fart or something. But these are like, these are real musty, and now they got like a moldy smell. And she's allergic to mold, and I have an issue with it too. And so it's just smart to have good dry seats. So long story short, which will still be long, I decided I was going to go try out this upholstery shop that's over in Haiku at the cannery. Or over there somewhere. Anyway, I went over to Haiku, and there's a guy by the name of Luis, does upholstery, and he does boats. and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, well, boats, if he does boats, he can do a car seat, and boats are in the water, so I like to surf, and this thing's gonna get wet, so might as well get, some waterproof kind of vinyl seat cover on there. But I want it real like I'm gonna do it like back to stock, just plain Jane gray, no pattern, just vinyl, because it's a 150 and it's bare bones, and let's face it, I'm gonna have a dog in there, and it's gonna get dirty, and I'm gonna do the factory rubber floor mat in there. They have a molded factory rubber floor mat I found. But I'm gonna put it back in here because I can hose out the sand with the, get all the sandy salt water out, because, that's what's gonna happen. Anyway, I show up over there, and I meet this guy Luis, and I'm talking to him and his buddy Marco that works there, cool guys. And he tells me, if I take the pattern, if I can take the upholstery off the seats and then fix the springs, which some of them need repair, and fix the metal stuff, and I can buy the new bolster trim stuff that goes around, I can buy that stuff. It's a couple $100. I found it, I can buy it, and I need a trim piece. Mine's broken anyway, and I tapped mine the other day, and they're, whatever pieces of sheet metal they are that's wrapped is, I think just the crusty vinyl is all that's holding those things together, so they look good, but don't get close to them because they'll just disintegrate. So I'm going to get those, but he's going to take my old upholstery, and like an upholsterer would do, and make patterns and stuff and make it nice. So I asked him, because you have to ask nowadays, if anything is featured on a channel or on YouTube or whatever you put out there, that you need to ask a guy. That's only the respectful thing to do. So I asked this guy, I was like, hey, do you mind if I, tell people about you and tell them, show them your seats and stuff? And he said, that'd be great. And then he said, well, why don't you do it before and after? And I thought about it, and, I think I'm going to do a series on that. I'm going to do here's how the seats are mounted. And you guys all know they have tri-5s, but some people don't know, and you have a tri-5 and you want to take your seat out or whatever. I'm going to rip these seats out and show you how they go. I've already showed you how they go in, but that was when I was doing the 4-speed and it was making a mess. 4-speed. Anyway, I'll point that out later, but we'll pull the seats out, and I'll strip all the vinyl off, and I'll show you what he told me to do, how to keep it for pattern so you can take it to your upholsterer. But he said it saves him a bunch of money if the springs and everything, or saves him time, which saves me money, if the springs and stuff are nice and solid. And so since this car belongs to B&C Performance, and it is the shop truck, and we'll be touring around the island, working on vehicles, surfing, that will be, that's important. So yeah, so I'm going to do it before and after. I'm going to take them out, take them apart, fix them, whatever's broken on the springs, and then take them over there, drop them off, and then when we get them back a couple weeks later, you'll see the kind of work he did. And, he said they're going to be super nice, and I told him don't make them too nice. Look at the car. I don't want them so nice that when I open the door, I go, oh, I need to start throwing rocks at this car because it's just ugly. What's going to be really fun is I'm going to make this car look like a junior stock. That's my favorite style of drag racing, is the old junior stocks. I don't even think they have that category anymore, but they were, Google them. I told you about them before. They had fender well headers and Kragers, and they dominated the early 60s. Tri-5 Chevys dominated the junior stock class. We're talking knocking on the 11s with a 265. Just paid attention to lots of details and prep and setup, but they couldn't really do anything crazy. But can you imagine running 11s in a 55 Nomad with a 265 with a 2-barrel? I mean, those guys were getting, they could race. I'm going to be running a blower, and if I get into the 13s, I'll be stoked, which I'm never going to drag race it, but that'd be hilarious, right? This thing gets smoked but I'm going to have it looking like, on the back quarters, it's going to say like B&C Special or something, and have stickers all over it, and it'll look like have some sort of paint on it, just like an old drag car. And the interior will be stock, like a D-stock car and I'll have that single hoop, and I'll just drive it around with bigs and littles and a blow. I mean, the only difference is gonna have a blower and a hole in the hood. Other than that, it'll be a totally stock car. I won't put the 283 cubic inch on the fender, because I never liked that on them, to be honest, or 270 horsepower or whatever. I'm not doing that. Molly's out here with me, the shop dog. But that happened. But the cool part about that is the reason is, you guys know my surfboard met a horrible, horrible fate. But some of you don't know is that I met a guy and he's building me a board. This would be the first time I've ever had a board built. I've dreamt of it. And so he's building me a really cool board. It's a 9'2". It's going to be like 24 inches wide and like 3 3/4 inches thick in the middle. For a big guy, it'll be perfect for me to, float out and catch just about any way with it. It's custom made. It'll be awesome. And he's giving me a screaming deal on it because he's just a really cool guy. But I asked him too if it'd be cool if I showed, his name's David, if I, showcased it when I go pick it up or whatever. And we were talking and I told him about the channel, and he's got one of those SVT Lightnings with the 5.4 and the blown 5.4. It just so happens to have a check engine light. And I happen to have like a snap-on scanner and be able to do that kind of stuff, diagnostic stuff. So I'm just going to go over there maybe Wednesday or something. I'll see how much these guys will actually let me film with their stuff. But I think it'd be fun if you guys saw how surfboards are made or saw, how upholstery's done. And like personally know where it's going. And then see it in use. And, vice versa. Anyway, that's what's going to happen coming up. So before any more ados get furthered, I'm going to position you guys and I'm going to start sticking studs and just drop the blower on there. And then I'll pick it up another day and do like the rest of the carbs and all that stuff. But we're doing this. See you guys in just a second. Back again. You know who it is. I don't need to do that anymore. It's getting old. All right. So here it is. I'm going to put this blower, going to take this tape off, put the gasket on, studs in, pick the blower up side over here. I put the towels and stuff right there on the fender, not for fender covers because this car's not that nice, but because there's a terrible glare because the sun is coming down over there because it's summertime and it's going to come in here. And then you get that wonderful glare in your face, which I don't like, and I'm pretty sure you guys don't like it either. So, trash. Okay. Blower studs. Going on. Bring them down till they bottom out. Give them a little bit of a feel good right there. I'm going to put these nuts and stuff in this box. But there's the first one. So I'll bring you guys back when I get them all on because you don't need to watch me putting studs in. See you in just a second. And things are on. Hold on, let me turn the light on here. There it is. See it? All them pretty little bolts. All them studs. So nice. Now it's time for Big Bertha to get on top there. Okay. You guys are going to watch me wrestle this thing on top of this motor. Go, puppy. Back up, back up, back up. All right, no, go. Go that way. Go, go, go. Go, girl. Like I said, these things aren't light. Alright. Alright, baby, you ready? Make sure nothing is on top of this thing at all. Is anything stuck on here? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Nothing that'll make it not work. Okay. Just checking. Here we go. Okay, you ready? Bring the pain. Oh, that mat just slipped out from underneath me. That was cool. There we go. Oh, my carpet just slipped out from underneath me. That was awesome. Well, there it is, up on top. Back in all of its fundamentals and glory. Let me set this up here so you guys can look down upon it. Oh yeah, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh yeah. Okay, nuts and washers. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I like the rounded side up and the square side down, but these seem to not be particular. Truth be known, when I opened this package, they all went flying. And so I had to go find them. I had to crawl around and find them. One of them was stuck in that coil spring on the frame, or in the lower control arm. Stuck. I ran a magnet down all the intake ports to make sure it wasn't inside the motor. I was terrified that it went flying and went in there, so I ran a magnet down. I spun the motor slowly, everything, to listen to see if I could hear it drop into the cylinder, and then I was going to pull, like, it was going to be ugly all over a stupid washer, but I found them all because if I hadn't have, I'd have pulled this motor down. And then I wouldn't have found it, then I found it over there, but hey, peace of mind is cheaper than, a piece of crap. You know what I'm saying? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, or whatever. Like I said, do the wrong thing the right way, or whatever I say, I don't know. Another thing I was thinking about, actually, is in the messages, Left for Dead Garage, which meant I gotta figure out your first name, because I prefer to call my friends by their first names, instead of, LFGD. That sounds weird. Luftug. Anyway, Luftug decided that he didn't know about the, what did I tell him? He didn't know about the ignition, no, it was ignition switch? He didn't know about the fuel sending units up until 1964 and older, are 0 to 30. He's got a 64 Impala he's building with a big block, which he needs to know that to run with his stock gauges. He also didn't know that up until 65, I believe it is, that all GM ignition switches do not have an excited ignition circuit for the coil when you're in the cranking mode. Most people don't know that. So when you're cranking, then this is what happens. When you're cranking in one of those old cars, the 4-post starter solenoid kicks out, makes in contact, and the 4th post runs a wire up to the ballast resistor to the coil, which excites the coil, and you get, say they use it like a start relay. When you're cranking, it fires. And in later models, they used it to bypass the ballast resistor to give it more power to the coil. So you'd get 12 volts instead of going through the ballast, and that would fire it. But so what would happen on a lot of guys were changing out and putting mini starters and using the stock ignition switch, or putting crate motors in. The car wouldn't fire till they just as they just backed off the key, it would fire. And what was going on is there's 3 sets of contacts in that ignition switch, and as it would go like, on, would hit battery power to ignition, and then when you went to start, it would be battery power to start and nothing on ignition. So as you backed off and it just caught that contact when you released the key, it'd fire. And people tried all sorts of stuff. They didn't realize that's the way it went. So my advice is to wire in if you're going to run like a high torque starter like I am on this car, and I'm going to do a full series where I do all electrical, because that's kind of my forte, is electrical and diagnostic stuff. So I'm going to do a full series on how to wire a car correctly and how to get around those kind of gremlins, especially they're not really gremlins, but if you don't know about them, a bad electrical system, or a car that has electrical issues or brake issues or cooling system issues, will make a very good car into an unreliable piece of junk that no one will want to drive. And so my goal is to eliminate that, or help you guys eliminate that on your own projects. you know, like I said, do the wrong thing the right way. So what we're going to do is I'm going to wire off the key. I'm going to power the ignition circuit secondarily when it goes into the start mode. So it'll use a relay to power the ignition circuit. When I pull it off, the relay will die and the ignition switch will take it. I probably will have an ignition relay on there anyway. A secondary ignition relay, because I don't like having that many amps carried through a stock ignition switch. But, you know, they can carry a couple milliamps and last forever versus carrying, you know, 20 or 30 amps through a bunch of contacts and old ignition switch. So I'll show you guys how to do all that stuff and make a bulletproof ignition system to where your cars are reliable. Anyway, this blower is on. Gaskets, blue anodized ARP studs, click, 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 click. Okay, good and tight. German specs for torque specs. Another stupid thing I did is I misplaced the nuts and washers for this. When I was doing my spring cleaning for all of my junk in there, I had a small jar, glass jar that had everything in it, and I don't know. Hold on a second. Nope, it's not up there. I don't know where I put it. I have no idea. But the blower's back on. Yeah, blower's back on. Should I put the belt on? Yeah, why not? This is a 54 tooth belt. I'm running a 33-inch top pulley and a 27 tooth bottom pulley for 18% underdriven. So this spins 18% slower than the engine, which it probably will cost horsepower to spin this versus making any horsepower. The fun part about it is, you know, it's up there for looks. I can always, you know, make this pulley smaller or make that pulley down there bigger, but probably make this one smaller and, you know, spin it closer. But, you know, this motor's almost 11 to 1, so I don't really want to blow it up. I just want to drive it every day and go surfing and not think about it, if I'm perfectly honest. But here goes blower belts. Blower belts. This belt is on. All right. Tighten up this bolt by finger tight. And I'll show you how to tension this later. I like it to be able to move 3/4 of an inch because dissimilar metals expand and contract at different rates. But once all the metal is up to an operational temperature, like say the engine runs at 180. To get to 180, the rate of expansion for different metals is different. Aluminum moves way quicker, and steel takes a while. It's kind of a slow burn, but once it gets there, it still expands, but not as much as aluminum does. So I like my belt to be able to move like 3/4 of an inch. Some people take them, and if they can twist it 90 degrees, then they're good enough. But I like to go 3/4 of an inch. Same with like a belt on a motorcycle. 3/4 of an inch play. Have the other side perfectly taut and take it all in 3/4 of an inch. That way when this thing grows, this belt will become as tight as like an E string. Ding, 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 you know. Which if it's tight already and this thing expands, there's bearings in here. And you have bearing down there on the front of the crank. And that kind of pressure is kind of goofy. Which brings another thing I'd like to talk about. The blower belt. Why don't I run a harmonic balancer? Because there's no need to run a harmonic balancer. My engine's internally balanced, and it has a crank hub, and this here belt and this blower are plenty of harmonic reduction thing. They handle all of it for me, which makes me very happy. I just love superchargers and 4-speeds. Tri-5 Chevys. 2-door, actually anything that has a V8 sound. My Toyota. Lava lamp. Anyway, blower. See you guys later, tomorrow. Oh yeah. How many of you knew I couldn't leave that alone? Huh? You guys did. Check this out. Hmm. I like velocity stacks too. Yep. It's either those, or that. I have lots of options. So, that's it for, that really is it this time. Metal splinter in my finger. That really is it for this time with your old buddy Jake. Well, me, Brant, you know who it is. Have fun, kids. Make good decisions.